Hello and welcome to another episode in the You're My Comms Hero podcast series with one of the comms heroes that I'm inspired by, Rachel Roberts. And we'll let Rachel introduce herself just shortly, but this is an exciting one because fresh news, Rachel has just won her campaign and is now President Elect for CIPR 2021. So we're going to hear more about that later. But I just had to get her on the podcast series whilst this news was fresh to hear more about it. So welcome, Rachel, and thank you for your time and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's great. I've only recently started discovering the comms hero community, but every time I interact, I'm inspired too and hear great things and meet great people. So thanks for the opportunity to connect again to this community.
Oh, you're welcome. And we'll talk about, because you're a first-time comms hero attendee as well, but we're going to save that question for a bit later. So Rachel, you're founder of Spottydog Communication. So tell us about that business and what it does and what you're doing within there.
Well, I've been a comms professional for over 20 years now, and I started Spottydog in 2010 purely driven by the need to juggle family commitments as well as being serious about my professional career. And I started Spottydog as a freelancer, and I was going to go back to a proper job in 5 years once the children had grown up a little bit. But of course, it's grown and grown. So the plan didn't go terribly well, but I'm really proud of the business I've created. So no complaints from me. It's wonderful. It's a joy to run your own business and see the development of people and really be master of your own ship. So it's a great opportunity to develop your career in that way.
Excellent. And I've got to ask, where did Spottydog, where's the name come from? We've got a Dalmatian somewhere. And we used to have one.
That is a question that everybody asks, and it's the best decision I never made. It just came to me, I don't know why, it's probably wine induced or something. But it's a standout for us. We don't have a dog. Clearly, we're excellent at marketing. Well, we do have a dog. We have a small King Charles Spaniel, but he's definitely not spotty or athletic. He's not particularly even great at walks. He likes sitting on the sofa. But yeah, I suppose the name Spottydog really encapsulates what we're about: creative, fun. If you look in the dictionary, it actually means wicked. And I guess that is, that we're a vibrant team. We're full of energy. We're full of passion. We always say that Spottydog, the brand Spottydog, should leave people with a sort of, a smile on their face. We do serious stuff. We do crisis management and issues management. Sometimes have to deal with really difficult issues, but you can be a very serious comms professional and then kick your heels off after the event and show your personality. So I guess that's what we're about.
Yeah. And how, as a business owner, how's it been since March, really, the last 7 months?
I mean, it's a challenge. Our largest client is one of the largest pub companies in the UK. We used to open about 350 pubs a year. So yes, it's had an impact on the business, but we're surviving. We're doing fine. We welcomed 3 new team members since March, so we had to respond really quickly to what was in front of us. And I think running a business, you have to be agile. Nobody can ever see really more than 3 months ahead. Situation can always change, so it's tough. But I don't think running a business has ever been easy. You can never rest on your laurels. And I think on that moment that I always think, oh my God, this is really going brilliantly. The next day I get some news and someone says, can I just have a word? Yeah. So you always have to be fast to respond to the market opportunity, see what's in front of you, make sure you've got the right offer for what the market needs. So that's what, and we're doing fine. And for me, it's actually about trying to support the wider community, because we need a strong PR industry for us all to, keep developing a strong profession. So supporting freelancers at the moment is something I'm trying to do quite a bit, mentor others, and be that sort of drum for there are green shoots out there. There's good stuff. You've got to work hard to find the opportunities, but don't. There's sometimes I think the media loves the doom and gloom agenda, and there's all I believe the line I say quite a lot to my team is there's opportunity in every market. Change brings opportunity, so you've just got to get onto it and work hard to tap into it.
Yeah, no, I love that. I do. share and echo those sentiments as well, because there's no point denying business is definitely tougher now than it ever has been, but business has never been easy. So I think if we've seen a lot of people who've decided, right, I need to go and get out there, but if you've been doing that actively anyway, then it's just, right, I need to do more of getting out there. So good on you for doing that, and it's pleasing that things are ticking along and moving along nicely for you. So in amongst all of that, running a business and having a family as well, and you decided to run for the CIPR President elections, which is and fantastic to say that you won, and it's pleasing. That's one of the reasons that prompted us. Look, I need to definitely speak to Rachel, because this is current news, so let's get her on a podcast. But what made you kind of say, right, I'm gonna do this now, I need to stand for president? What made you do it?
Well, the CIPR is really important to me. I've been actively involved. I've been a member for 12 years. I've been actively involved for 8 years. In fact, when I started Spotty Dog, I really got involved because as a freelancer, it was quite lonely and isolating. So the CIPR gave me a really good network to meet people, get out of the home office. And for me, it was a low cost way to keep, developing my skills. For £200 a year, you can get access to all sorts of training. Obviously, some you have to pay for, but just training, informal training by, meeting peers and, asking for help and stuff like that. So for me, it really helped me. Then as I started recruiting team members, when you hire your first person, you think, that's brilliant. I've got a team member who's going to do all the stuff. And of course, then you have the responsibility for supporting them and their training and development. So again, business decision, it seemed really sensible that if I joined team members into a professional association, and sometimes it has been CIM and sometimes it's been IOC, but it's a year's worth of training or a framework for training to help develop them. So CIPR has been important from that perspective. And I got asked to join the board this year. Jenny Field co-opted me on, and so for me, I was going to serve 1 year, and that was going to be my contribution, because I think if people ask you to do something, you should unless you've got a really good reason, you should do it. And sitting on the board, I could see so many opportunities, and I got a little bit frustrated because, again, as an entrepreneur, you can see if we can connect that opportunity to that need, boom, you can get a benefit for everybody. So I guess it was only halfway through the year, discussions came about the election, and I thought, I'll give it a go, because at the end of this year I won't be on the board, so this is the time to do it, or I'll move on to another, some that I can help and contribute to. So it was really, I can see a huge opportunity. The CIPR does a lot of brilliant things, and I was really happy to bang the drum all the way through the election, and why I'm proud to be a member, and why I think it's added, contributed to my professional career and those of the other guys that I work with. But I can see so much more, and I really want to help achieve that, because that can benefit our profession and benefit more members. So yeah, there's an opportunity there, and I want to help see if we can realise that opportunity.
Yeah, excellent. And so you had that kind of desire, want to change and help CIPR and the community within it, which is fantastic and to be applauded. And you've won that election. So I mean, how does that feel when you found out?
My gosh, it's such a huge honour, because it was completely unexpected. And standing against Peter Holt is someone I really respect. I didn't know him hugely before the election, but he's given a lot to the CIPR, and he would have been a great president. He had a vision, perhaps differently to mine, but there was a lot of merit in some of the points he was making. So yes, it was a surprise, but a huge privilege for members even to take their time to vote, because it's a busy time right now. People have to think about how they're going to pay the mortgages and keep their own wheels turning. So I almost feel a little bit apologetic that we called on people to kind of contribute at this time, but the fact that they were able to do so. And I think the biggest thrill really was hearing from CIPR members who I didn't know. In fact, the majority of people that would post online and say I've voted, I'd never met them. So to know that people had judged you on what you stand for and trusted in your ability, because they don't know you, that's incredible. That's an incredible feeling, an incredible compliment. So I really appreciate everybody that's voted and everybody that took part in the election. Really, it's a huge honor.
Oh, that's brilliant. And so you've got plenty of time to plan what you're going to be doing. And are you looking to have any firm plans? Because there's obviously a year in between when you start the role, and we don't know what the world's going to look like in a year. So when do you start thinking, right, this is I'm looking towards when I start, and this is what I'm aiming to do? Have you got any kind of plans, or it's still too early and just you're basking in the glory of your election win, which is nothing wrong with that?
Well, I feel like I've already started to make a contribution by being on the board this year, and a lot of the points that I made during the election are points that I've already started to make. So, the contribution, never, has already started. But clearly, number one priority is to support Jenny and Mandy in their particular views on direction they want to go. And I think, Jenny and Mandy are already complementing each other. So the whole point of this continuity piece is there isn't a verge off in a certain direction that with a president who has an agenda. And I also think perhaps a lot of the views that I have sitting here, perhaps a little bit naively saying, well, it's easy to fix this, that and the other. Actually, when you get and start understanding some of the practical considerations, you do have to compromise on some of the strong opinions you have. So I think working with, continue to serve on the board, work with Jenny and Mandy, and also the CIPR staff, because they're responsible for a lot of the pledges that presidents make, and they do a wonderful job, and they can be pulled in many different directions. So if there's criticism of the CIPR, it's not really it's not a criticism actually of it, the president or the board or the council or the CIPR staff. These are all mechanics that work together to deliver for members, and I see that there could be a better way of those elements working together, so that they're all working in a complementary way rather than having different views or different agendas. That could be the perception. So I want to make a contribution now. If I'm given my time, I want to help make an impact, but it's not all about me. It's about Jenny, it's about Mandy, it's about the CIPR staff and CIPR members. And you're right, when I ultimately start taking on the responsibility in 2022, it's understanding what's happening in the market and what members need, and making sure that we can respond to that fairly quickly.
Yeah, no, that's great, and we look forward to seeing you in post and the work that you'll be doing en route to that, as you say, taking the baton over from Jenny and Mandy. So it's pleasing. So good luck to you with that, and congratulations again. So do you think, in terms of the voting, do you think having a personal brand helped you in terms of getting votes and getting your messages out there? Because I noted personally from my timeline, a lot of video content came out in terms of little snippets of why people should vote for you. Do you think that personal brand made a difference?
I hope so, because I engaged with a lot of people who had never met, and I was told the way to kind of progress this election was to do a lot of personal outreach to people, and I have to say I didn't do that. One, because the election guidelines meant that you couldn't do any campaigning before the 2nd of October. So I did contact a couple of people in my network that already had existing relationships, but you can't go out there saying, I'm your stand, can you vote? And the second thing was, I trust CIPR members, and I just find it's a bit disingenuous to, right, I've connected to you on Twitter, now will you vote for me? I didn't like that approach. And I kind of thought, well, okay, that's the recommendation people say, but I want to do this in my own way and what's natural to me. So I trusted CIPR members that they're grown-ups. They don't want to be told what to do. And I just thought, if I make my case, they'll be the best judge. Now, I think there is a fair point to say that with so much clutter going on in the world, even by using social media and doing all the things that we do, blogs, all that jazz, it's still easy for CIPR members to miss what's going on. It was only a 2-week election period, and everyone's got busy lives. So I think the outreach to people is a valid point. But I hoped by not saying, will you vote for me because you know me, but please, this is what I stand for, this is what I want to do for you, and you guys be the judge. I think was really important. What was interesting is, of course, as communications professionals, we would recommend to our clients an amazing strategy, an amazing plan, and all the tactics. And of course, really, I was making my campaign up as I went along, with the commitment of business and with the commitment of lots of other things going on in my personal life. I had my overarching message, and obviously I worked hard on the manifesto to really understand what I wanted to present to members, and sought the views of others and really listened to a lot of people. So I put quite a lot of thought into my message of empowerment and what I stood for. Then when the starting gun happened and we went live, everything else that followed was happening every day, just listening to what people were saying and trying to respond. So those videos I made every day, about 11:30, I thought, crikey, I've started something now. I need to, and I did them in 15 minutes, and then I had to get back to work. And obviously there was a couple of days when I was in the car at the hockey pitch with my children, and I was thinking, I've not made a video. Well, we're all parents, or we've got personal life,
Absolutely.
we've got families to look after. So I thought that people would relate to my situation and not mark me down for it. But I was on the 1:00 news the other week, and I wore makeup, and I can be serious and professional when it needs to be. But we're like chameleons, right? And we have to communicate in whatever the situation. So I hope people saw that from me.
Oh, absolutely. It reminds me of the one of the ComZero Week sessions by Josephine Graham, Mama Under Lockdown. And she said exactly the same things as you've just said there. And speaking about ComZero, you were your first time attendance of a ComZero event recently. So tell us what made you attend it, first of all, and book your place. Well,
the way you guys put everything together is amazing. I mean, you're absolutely killing it. So can learn a lot from you, just in terms of how you make a virtual event happen and communicate it. I loved your personal outreach, actually. I felt like you invited me in. And otherwise I probably would have seen it as another great opportunity, but something I was too busy to do. And the thing is, with proliferation of webinars at the moment, there's so many amazing opportunities, and you think, oh, that's really good, but there's always a reason not to do it. So I think actually the fact that you outreach to me was, that was enough, really. It showed that you really cared and you wanted to invite people into your community. And I was a little bit intimidated, actually. I felt like I was joining a club that that was already well established, because you see everybody kind of on Twitter talking about ComZero, and I think, oh gosh, these seem like a really cool bunch of guys, and actually you're really inclusive, so it's nice to be part of it. I still feel like I'm a bit of a just getting to grips with who everybody is, because it seems like a really tight community, but obviously, as I say, I feel really that you're very inclusive. But obviously the speakers that you had on across the week, and the fact that you could dip in and dip out, was really, really good. I love the platform you used. I've been to quite a few virtual events. I've even blogged and vlogged about it. We did an event in July which was really successful, and so it's good to see the different platforms that can be used. But yeah, I love the community that you've created. It seems really supportive, but and at the end of the day, just like being part of CIPR, I think we're in an industry that never stands still. So I talked to the team at spottydog about an inquisitive mind and always wanting to learn. So for me, learning is at the top of my agenda. You've got, to be the best consultant, you've got to train every day. So I'm always trying to explore learning opportunities, and it seems the way you've packaged ComZero Week is really, really smart. So all fair play to you guys.
Thank you for that. And it was important to, because the virtual platform introduced a whole new audience for us, and as I say, we had a lot of people who attended for the first time, and we had people from Tasmania, Oman, Botswana, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany, the States, Canada. So it was amazing to to see that kind of global exposure to ComZero, which we've not necessarily had before. And as I say, it's always nice to, because we've got that whole energy from the one-day events that we've done 12 beforehand over the last 6.5 years. And what was really important was how do we capture that energy in a virtual format, but try and do it in a way that you mentioned. There's so many webinars, there's so much choice now that people have had to decide, look, I can't do that. And it's been really pleasing to see dipped in and out, as you say, into the week as they kind of fit around their own work and personal life. And we tried to mix up the type of content, the type of speakers, so we didn't have a specific day on a theme. We covered lots of different subjects throughout the whole week. And we've got some great feedback on the platform as well. The networking it's always been a massive part of the ComZero community and the ComZero network. And it was great, and I really appreciate you giving that feedback as well on the networking, because that's a big part of longer lasting relationships, and taking them away with you is just equally as important to us as the content. Because that's really what we want to give people. So it's great that it did that for you.
I love the diversity of of what you covered, and I think the diversity of PR and the CIPR is reflective of that. And I think during the election there was a lot of focus on particular areas, sort of AI and PR being one that came up quite a lot, and that's important. But for me, AI it's like digital. It drives everything we do. We have to be aware, and but we have to be aware of so many things. And one thing I really want to bring to CIPR is to really celebrate and champion the diversity, because lots of people come into our industry. There might be public affairs practitioners or internal comms or consumer, or they might work in London agencies or internationally, regionally, and nobody has the same story. Everyone's got a different set of needs, and I think it's really important that we're inclusive, so that there's something there to serve everybody, rather than try and define this is what you need to do, because everybody's got different needs. They come into learning and development. There might be a junior, new entrant to the market. There might be somebody that's done an MBA and masters, so needs a different set of, perhaps their learning is more about mentoring. But I think we talk about diversity, and diversity of people and inclusion of practitioners or backgrounds is really important. But I think we also need to talk about the diversity of our profession. And for me, when I talk about talk about young people coming into our industry, I love to explain how you can develop your career, sideways, upways, all all sorts of different directions, because the amount of activities we do in our industry is amazing. You can get such a buzz by doing so many interesting things, and I think banging the drum for the range of disciplines that you can cover working in comms is a really important way to showcase our profession.
No, thank you for that. And speaking of ComZero, who are your ComZero inspirations, either brands or people?
Oh my gosh, that's a really great question. I'd love to answer that very eloquently, and I don't know if I can. Might have to come back to that, if that's okay.
That's fine. It's always one they're only that spring to mind instantly. For me, it's people like Innocent and Greg's and Yorkshire Tea. Lots of fun, but individuals. Grant Lebos are a regular inspiration, but also people that I know that aren't published authors and things like that. Amy Nettleton from Astor Group and Linda Thwaite from Stroke McAlpine, people who spoke at ComZero. A lot of those people I know through the network. Steve and Sarah Waddington, they're they're not, like I said, you don't have to be a published author to be an inspiration. So I don't know if that helps you kind of filter some thoughts in your mind.
I think there's quite a lot of chat at the moment, and a lot of recognition for the contribution the Prime Minister of New Zealand is making, and I think she's a really great role model. What's important about her is she fuses three elements which I think are critical to be a great person in comms, but it's about leadership, it's about communicating, and it's about being really good at doing your job. And I think that's at the hub of anything you do, because there are really great people who are very visible in comms. If you take someone like I don't know if I should name and shame, but it's been done by so many people. Take someone like Tim Martin at Wetherspoons. I think he's a really great communicator. I don't know the chap, but in terms of perception of the Wetherspoons brand, there's been a lot of negativity about how they've treated staff during lockdown and furlough and stuff like that. So, he's a great communicator. But then technically, if your brand is getting a kicking, there might be some challenges in terms of the operational elements of your business. So you can't just be a good communicator. You can't just be smoke and mirrors. You've got to make sure you deliver. And we talk about authenticity. And I think, people are, PR's been around for a long time now. And, the public are wise to it. They know when they're being sold to. They know when something isn't right. So, as ethical communicators, it's really important that we, counsel our clients that you can't say something that isn't true. You can't make stuff up. And so you have to communicate honestly and live the values that you are. So I think examples of people who really bring those elements together, that technically clearly can do their job, are technically good leaders and technically good communicators, are really important, because there's some amazing people out there who are brilliant in their job, but they struggle to communicate it, and then you don't take people with you. So they're the three traits, I guess, that I would like, that I'd see as great communications professionals.
Excellent. No, that's great. Thank you for sharing those. And Rachel, on that note, thank you very much for your time. It's been an insightful kind of 30 minutes or so. So that's absolutely flown by, should I say? And so much is happening to you. And congratulations again on the election win. And look forward to seeing how that transpires over the next months and over the next year. And good luck with that role. And so thank you once again, Rachel. It's been an inspiration. There's lots of stuff I'm sure people will take inspiration from as well, and some takeaways for them to hopefully inspire them to do things differently or carry on doing some of the same things that they've done, and you've just kind of reaffirmed that they're the right things to do. So just leaves me to remind everyone, ComZero Week 2021. So because of the kind of energy and enthusiasm of this year's, we just had to make it happen again. So we've committed. It's going to be 27th of September to 1st of October, and we're also going to include, for the first time ever, the ComZero Awards, which will include a special award for to remember the late John Popham, who was part of ComZero right from the very beginning, and that'll be a special thing for us to do. So we're still shaping what that looks like, but if anyone wants to register their interest, you can go to the website comzero.com, and also follow us on Twitter at ComZero. Connect with myself on Twitter at Asif Choudry, and on LinkedIn as well. So thank you again, Rachel. Much appreciated for your time, and look forward to getting this out there on Spotify and Apple and on our website. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for the opportunity. And if I could just finally say, I didn't really thank all the wonderful supporters that helped me in the election campaign. A lot of people gave up their time to enable, the election stuff to happen. So I just really appreciate them. I was sort of riding on the back of, this glorious victory, but I didn't do it on my own. So I just wanted to take time to thank everybody that was supported, part of my little supporter group. And thank you to everyone who voted, and thank you again for everyone who participated. So, and thank you to you. It's really great to have the opportunity today.
Great. Thanks very much, Rachel.